Well, let's get on now to our news analysis for today. China dove into capitalism, that is, laissez-faire capitalism, the kind of capitalism that the West experienced in the 18th century, from a communist-style planned economic system without virtually any warning or transition. Now, laissez-faire is an economic environment in which transactions between private parties are free from government restrictions, tariffs, and subsidies, with only enough regulations to protect property rights. Now, the phrase is obviously French, which literally means let them do, but it broadly implies let it be, let them do as they will, or leave it alone. Though some reforms have been implemented since those catch-as-catch-can 80s, the system is largely freewheeling. Unfortunately, the system is also distorted by a heavy government involvement in business. It's the so-called trickle-down economics, wherein the fruits of unbridled economic activity, a euphemism for greed, will eventually trickle down to the population. Guess what? Been there, done that. Countless economists have proven that's a pipe dream at best. So you can imagine what China's version of the gold rush has created. Now, the Nanfang Daily's report describes Chinese perception of the problem. A Guangzhou Public Opinion Research Center survey shows 56% hope government can narrow the gap through improved medical care, education, and social insurance. And 44% of people between 19 and 30 expect the government to narrow the gap through increased job opportunities. The survey also shows the wealth and income gap has raised public discontent. The survey says over half of those surveyed have remained dissatisfied for the past 3 years. You know what? It's really difficult to conceal public sentiment, especially as the gap widens. Now, Shenzhen TV reports that long public holidays are only complicating the problem. Before we didn't have the Qingming holiday, we had the 7-day-long May Day holiday. But some experts said the 7-day holiday for the May Day celebrations is too long. The Qingming Festival's 3-day holiday was just right, and we assume that the holiday stimulates economic growth. Many people travel and spend, but while China is the world's second biggest economy, over 100 million people are considered poor. Traveling for many Chinese, especially farmers and migrant workers, is considered a luxury. It's unfair that rich people travel around the world while many people sweat it out at work. Tourism helps China's economy, but many people are suffering from high real estate prices, high tuition, and high medical expenses. These are basic necessities. Tourism is not. The wide gap between the rich and poor shows China's economic system favors the rich. We need an economic system that evens the playing field. But right now, the question being asked is, where is social fairness and justice? Well, it's certainly a question which the Chinese government continues to struggle with, but any long-term solution will not only require a sustained anti-corruption effort, which the current government has started to do, but corresponding social and economic reforms which will make it extremely difficult for officials to manipulate market forces. A true checks and balances system within the economy. And the Southern Metropolis Daily says some of China's so-called captains of industry have proposed ways to narrow that yawning wealth gap. Economists and real estate tycoons, including Pan Shiyi, the chairman of the board of property developer Soho China, and Ren Zhiqiang, the Huayan Real Estate Group chairman, attended a meeting on property market regulation at the Boao Forum for Asia in Hainan province. They talked about how people could have a fair share in urbanization. Pan suggested that the household registration system be cancelled. He said this would narrow the gap between the rich and poor and urban and rural areas. Pan said the market, not the government, should drive urbanization. He said the hukou system limits talent and the market. He added once this system is removed, people from both poor and rich areas can share the same resources and share the same treatment. He explained it's wrong to artificially divide rural from urban land. But the Beijing vice mayor said that the big cities like Beijing cannot let people share the high quality of public services. He said Beijing still needs to control its population, But he agreed that people who are limited by the hukou system also must be allowed to enjoy the same treatment as local Beijingers, especially on public services and job opportunities. Well, as a postscript, the World Bank says that 13% of the world's poor are found in China. That's the world's second highest percentage.